Good morning, Illini. I'm Angel Cortez.
And I'm Jose Zepeda. It's Friday, April 9th, and it's great to have you with us. So, Angel, we've had a pretty great week today. How did your week look?
Ironically, Jose, I've spent all my time inside doing homework because I've been super busy this week. I mean, I went out for a run and a couple walks this week, but I feel like I should have gone out a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we've got a lot in store for the show today. First, we'll take a look at a recent burglary on campus and what you should know to stay safe.
Then we'll learn about the cherry blossoms on campus that are at full bloom.
And later, GMI's Illini Sakas reports on how a small 100-year-old theater is managing to survive during the pandemic. And now, let's check in with Perry Postalakos outside to see just how the weather is looking. Perry?
Good morning, Illini. It is 60 degrees and sunny out here at the Helene Gateway in Urbana. We were supposed to get some light precipitation this morning. That's why I brought my raincoat, but clearly it wasn't necessary. Stick around. I am going to have a full weekend forecast for you guys later in the show. Don't go anywhere. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Perry. Police say that there are many different ways to feel protected at home, at night, and at school. Scarlett O'Hara has more on how to avoid fear of crime.
After a crime occurs on campus, students might feel nervous. And even though safety alerts aren't meant to cause panic, it's important to remember that you're never alone in a college town.
I was like freaking out. I was like at my friend and I was like, oh my God, guys, my house is getting robbed right now.
Students received a campus safety notice Sunday afternoon following an intrusion at a sorority house. Papanuanu was not home at the time but recalls the quote, scary incident. University police continue to assure students of protective measures to take if they feel unsafe.
First of all, we have a very safe campus, but no community is completely crime-free.
Papanuanu says she and her sorority sisters have since begun locking doors more frequently, which is a crucial step in preventing future crime, according to university police. Doing so may also help reduce fear.
Not being paranoid and scared, because I'm not. Like, honestly, on Sunday, I was looking under my bed, just to make sure he wasn't there.
Safety resources are available on the UIPD website. While burglaries are rare, Wade suggests students always be aware of their surroundings. He says pepper spray can be a useful tool if carried on a keychain. In terms of theft, he recalls receiving videos of people walking down lines of cars.
Just pulling on door handles, and if the door's locked, they'll walk right past. If the door's unlocked, they'll open the door and start ruffling through everything. Be that person who stands up and says something to get your friend or even a stranger out of that unsafe situation.
Yeah, I think we feel okay. It'll be nice, just going forward, knowing that everyone's more aware about closing and stuff.
The sorority house burglary investigation with Champaign Police is ongoing. A spokesman did not respond for a comment. Utilizing the community, though, according to Wade, is what keeps us safe together. Wade says safe is always better than sorry. Experts want you to know they're there to help. With Good Morning Illini, I'm Scarlett O'Hara. Back to you in the studio.
For some more positive news, on Monday in a mass mail, the university announced that all university faculty, staff, and students are now eligible for vaccine appointments. According to the Champaign-Urbana Public Health District press release, COVID-19 vaccination appointments are available for those individuals 16 years of age or older who live or work in Champaign County. Vaccines are available by appointment only and can be scheduled through My McKinley portal. Registration fills quickly and will remain in high demand until more supply becomes available. You know, Angel and I have both gotten our double dose of vaccines, so we're feeling pretty good. How do you feel, Angel?
Yeah, I mean, it was a couple weeks ago, so I think we're doing good. But we actually have a couple of people in our crew who've gotten their vaccine today or are just sitting out because they're feeling kind of sick. But besides that, starting yesterday, COVID-19 saliva testing is now available for University of Illinois family members. The launch was originally scheduled for last week, but had to be pushed because of some unexpected technical issues with the app. The new app, called Safer Community, allows family members to test and receive their test results in a similar way to how students currently do. Safer Community app members must be sponsored by a faculty or staff member or a student, and each test costs $10 to take. Currently, family members can only test in specific lines at the State Farm Center, and since these tests are processed differently than the standard test, results may take up to 48 hours to come in. More information about Sanford Community can be found at Illinois online at shieldcu@illinois.edu.
The university is also providing an alternative COVID-19 testing option for individuals observing Ramadan. Ramadan is expected to begin on the evening of April 12th and observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, contemplation, and reflection. Students and faculty who are fasting during Ramadan and are concerned about producing a saliva sample for COVID testing can request a nasal swab test beginning Monday, April 12th through May 12th.
I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that the university did kind of provide that option for us. And so I think that's something that I might honestly utilize, given the fact that, especially with fasting, it's definitely harder to obviously if you're not eating and drinking to produce enough saliva for the regular COVID testing.
To request a nasal swab test, faculty and staff should contact the Office of Access Equity at 217-333-0885. Students should call McKinley at 217-244-5661.
Students with meal credits also have the option of being reimbursed during Ramadan. According to university housing residents, observing Ramadan may elect to prepare sack meals for breakfast and or lunch instead of a food cost reimbursement to do. Students must notify a supervisor as they enter the dining room, and if you have any questions, email illinoishousing@illinois.edu.
International students on campus are facing stressors other than the pandemic. GMI's Jade Roberts reported on how the lottery system and being far from home affects international students' mental health.
As international students here at the university try to navigate their future, it can add another layer of stress on top of pandemic and studying-related stress.
Now that I am, almost a senior and have to think about graduation and staying in this country, I really like being here so far, but the job search isn't easy for anyone, with COVID, and being an international student, there is that added pressure.
Beyond stress of future plans, Claudia Salazar spoke about the pandemic and other stressors in her life.
The thing that I'm living right now is temporary. So it's really hard to settle in some ways, as if I were living here. I have to be really watchful on even the things that I buy, or it's just sad when everybody gets to go home and just spend time with their family. I want to go back home, but I can't.
Though students face uncertainties, these students have found interesting ways to cope. While Claudia uses a virtual one-on-one counseling app created by the university, Ananya has found working as a specialist at the Illinois Leadership Center a very positive experience.
Just as COVID started, I was pretty isolated on campus. All of my commitments revolved around just staring at a Zoom screen. And the ILC was the one place where I get to come in person and work 3 times a week. And it kind of ended up being something that I was looking forward to the most, because I got to see people, I like working with my team, and I also got to meet other students, even if it was in an online setting. And more than that, I just got to expand my boundaries.
From Urbana, this is Jade Roberts. Good morning, Illini.
Mom's Weekend starts today, and understandably, it looks different because of COVID-19, but the traditions must go on. The Japan House in particular will be celebrating this weekend with tea ceremonies and their spring open house event. We have Michael Darren, the Education and Experience Coordinator for the Japan House, to talk about tomorrow's event and more. Michael, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. But first off, can you start by telling us more about the Japan House and its community and its mission in the community?
So Japan House is part of the University of Illinois, but we also straddle the local community with offering traditional Japanese art events. And so typically we would be open to have a Japanese tea ceremony. We might, this weekend, typically we'd have an open house and just have people come through, see what we're doing. But we're constantly trying to just introduce people to basically what's called chado, or the way of ceremony. And it's where you share a bowl of matcha tea, which is about a 500-year-old practice. We're located in the Arboretum, and so right now it's beautiful here today with all of the sakura blooming. Those are the Japanese cherry blossoms. And so it's a wonderful place to come and visit not only Japan House, but the Arboretum as a whole, where we sit just on Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And what can students expect from tomorrow's spring open house event and the tea ceremonies following it?
So tomorrow we're working with a friend who is out in California. So one of the things with being shut down in a way, COVID related, we've been able to reach out to other artists that aren't typically part of our lineup. So we're working with a man who's friends with our sensei or our founder, Shozo Sato. This man, Kerry Marshall, builds these beautiful pieces of furniture and other items out of old reclaimed redwood that are pulled out of the river in Mendocino, California. He used to be Shozo's neighbor. So it's this wonderful story that lasts 20 years or so. Kerry's going to be doing an online presentation for us talking about the woodworking that he does, and then you'll have a moment to see him and Shozo interact. And then the tea ceremony we have coming up, we have a virtual tea ceremony planned for tomorrow. So people, we have already sent out their kit. If they're local, the student is here, they get one half the kit, their mom or their loved one or whomever gets the other half in Chicago or wherever they might be. They'll watch a tea ceremony on live with our tea students, which is part of a local tea group, not university related. And they will be doing a Japanese tea ceremony for the participants. And then we'll cut to live with them and we'll teach everybody how to whisk a bowl of matcha and how to serve it properly. And they get a little sweet to eat with it. So it's a really exciting day for us. It's our first tea ceremonies that we've had since we shut down last spring. So although they're virtual, it is our first tea ceremonies that we will be offering.
Yeah, again, it's great to hear about what you guys are doing to do what, even though we're still in pandemic, but besides the events, but can you tell us more about the cherry blossoms? Because I knew they bloomed this week. So how long are they going to stay around in Champaign for?
So that's always a question. The part of cherry blossoms that makes them so wonderful and part of Japanese culture is the sort of idea that as soon as they bloom, they're going to start fading. And it's really about really enjoying each day as it comes, celebrating life because we know it's not forever. And so these beautiful cherry blossoms started to bloom a couple of days ago. Right now they're in what's called full bloom. And with the rain yesterday and a little bit of the sun we've had today, they're just glorious. They will start to fall here in the next day or so. And so that's also a beautiful process. It's almost like snow falling, but in the spring, these beautiful pink petals are falling. And then, you know, the end of it is always a somber time, but it is a reflection on life and how it is renewed every year. So besides those trees, we have a lot of other trees that are blooming. There's beautiful weeping trees, weeping cherry trees, all sort of blooming things out here. So really we encourage people just to come out, enjoy it. We are still, you know, wishing people to wear a mask if possible, to, you know, keep social distancing, but there has been tons of people out here this week. And we're thinking all the way through the weekend that you would still be able to really enjoy them.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. I'm going to have to go outside there and check it out myself. Well, that's all we got for you today, but thank you again for joining us on the show.
And we'll see you out here. Thanks.
Well, it's funny that the cherry blossoms actually happened on Tuesday. That I went on a run and didn't even realize they blossomed. I just passed by and I just got really lucky, I guess. Anyway, let's take a look at our weather this upcoming weekend. Perry?
You might need your sunnies today, but if you've got any outdoor plans this weekend, I hate to break it to you, you might get rained out. We're going to see some precipitation over the next couple of days along with some serious temperature drops. We are going to be getting some precipitation this evening as well, not until later, so enjoy the sunny skies while you can. Today, we have a high of 74 and a low of 52. Tomorrow, there is an 80% chance of rain with a high of 64 and a low of 45. Sunday, we drop to a high of 59 and a low of 43 with a 60% chance of rain. Let's take advantage of these clear skies while we can and make it a good morning, Illini. In Urbana, I'm Perry Apostolakos. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Perry. Although we're going to see some rainy weekend, we saw great weather this past week here on campus. GMI's Carson Gordy took it to the streets to find out how students decided to take in the spring weather.
Bad weather and COVID lockdowns kept our student body locked inside for months. But with the rise of warm weather, I went out to the quad to find out how students are going to take advantage of the warm weather before we get sent home for the entire summer.
It's just like nicer to be outside and like I can do homework outside, and it's like I feel more inclined to walk around instead of stay in my dorm all day.
I'm like vaccinated, which is awesome, and a lot of my friends are too. So yeah, I'm definitely way more comfortable in just like being outside and being able to like have that space. So.
Been out here on the quad playing spike ball with my friends, frisbee, football too. Just sports outside is the best way to hang out with friends.
Definitely sitting on the quad today was one of those things. It's so nice outside today, and it's just great to be able to sit with friends, enjoy the sun.
If you were at frat party playing basketball and you saw like Kofi Coburn there, would you challenge him to a one-on-one game?
Absolutely, I think I could take him. I would say I would like hold him to 0 points.
Really? You think so?
No, I'm just kidding.
No. It doesn't appear that the warm weather is about the big event. It's about being able to go out and enjoy the little things with the people you care about most. From Urbana, I'm Carson Gordy. Good morning, Illini.
April is Earth Month. On Wednesday afternoon, the Institute for Stability, Energy, and Environment, as well as the Facilities and Services Department, picked up trash at Boneyard Creek on the engineering quad. Participants followed all COVID safety procedures. For more information about upcoming events, you can go to the ISEE social media pages or their online calendar.
It's no secret that movie theaters have been hit the hardest during the pandemic. GMI's Illini Sakis reported on how her small 2 theater back home is slowly bringing customers back in.
In the heart of Antioch, Illinois, stands a 100-year-old family-run movie theater. With only 2 screens and vintage seating, the theater has a small-town feel to it. However, with the pandemic affecting small businesses, the theater was no exception. I've worked at the Antioch Movie Theater for 4 years and counting, and my coworkers and I were determined to keep the theater afloat while keeping everyone safe.
Well, we currently do private rentals, so that means that people can choose who they're with when they come into the theater, and they can have birthday parties, and they can really watch any movie that they'd like, and so we're continuing that into the summer.
The theater has increased sanitation protocols, reserved seating, and limited hours on the weekends. Going to the theater is an enjoyable experience for people of all ages, so they can see their favorite new films on the big screen.
You know, the whole point of going to watch a movie as soon as it comes out is just being in the movie theater atmosphere. You know, you get the hot, fresh popcorn, you get that big soda, you just get to be around all the other people that are just there experiencing it with you.
With COVID impacting small businesses, movie theaters are trying their best to stay afloat and ask the community to show support. In Urbana, I'm Illini Sakis. Good morning, Illini.
Speaking of the movies, movie night in the Memorial Stadium is back. Playing tomorrow is Avengers Infinity War, open to students with a valid ID. Gates open at 7:30 p.m. and the movie starts at 8 p.m. There will be free popcorn and drinks available. Don't want the food they offer? Well, you can also bring your own food and a non-alcoholic beverage. Remember to mask up and social distance while you're there.
Well, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to take a look at how baseball fans are trying to see the games in a unique way.
Don't ignore the subtext. It's on us to intervene in sexual assault. Because we can. Take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan.
today.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
And we're back with some Good Morning Illini. Last week, we had a look at the limited attendance at Illinois baseball games this season. Despite there being an exclusive guest list to sit in the bleachers, some Illini fans are determined to watch the games in person. GMI's Brad Zimmerman tells us how they're doing it.
There is nothing like watching baseball in person. But this year, Illini baseball fans have to ask themselves, is it worth it to watch the game through a chain link fence? For some, the answer is yes.
We thought it would be a nice day just to come out and see some baseball. It's not the best vantage point, but it's better than nothing.
Spectators watching through the fence don't have the best view in the house, but they do have a view of the action, and that is more than enough.
Me and my friends came out tonight just because even though we can't get into the game, you can see through the fence pretty well, and we still wanted to be able to enjoy the baseball.
Some fans are choosing to watch from beyond the outfield wall. They're using their SUVs or their trucks as viewing platforms to see over the wall.
With the limitations on who can enter the ballpark, we decided to build a little platform on our truck here so we could sit out in the outfield and watch the games.
At Illinois Field, I'm Brad Zimmerman. Good morning, Illini.
Yeah, and last night the women's soccer team faced off against Iowa in the first game of the Big Ten tournament. A golden goal from the Hawkeyes 2 minutes into overtime sealed the win for the team. While the loss was devastating for the team and their season has ended, they had a positive note this week. On Tuesday, it was the grand opening of Demirjian Park. The building was unveiled to both the soccer and track and field teams who will be using the facility for the remainder of their careers. And I was there last night at that game at Demirjian Park, 7 p.m. under the lights. It was pretty cold, even though this whole week has been super warm. I was absolutely freezing outside there. I don't know. The game was very devastating. I remember the teams were doing a cool down, and they just the looks on their faces were just so sad, and some of them had some tears in their eyes because it was a very abrupt ending to the season. And I don't think anyone was expecting it in the stands. And Jose, I know we're on soccer, and I think you might have played soccer earlier in your career.
Yes, I did. So I played soccer for freshman and sophomore year in high school. I was all right. I mean, I got the job done, but in the end, it just wasn't for me. So, you know, it's just one of those things that you just have to learn to find out. Obviously, you're clearly very passionate with soccer, though. How about you?
Oh, of course I've played soccer. Actually, Jose and I used to play soccer back in our elementary days at Park District Soccer. We actually have a picture. I wish we had it right now so we could pull it up. But it's the two of us in there plus some other childhood friends. And your dad was the coach too, right?
Yeah, he was. He was a coach. And I remember he did, in that one picture you're talking about, though, he did bunny ears on you, actually, right?
I think so. I mean, again, I wish we had the picture to pull up, but if you want to say that is. And oh man, Jose, do you think even though we were kids, do you think it was a little traumatizing to have your dad as your coach?
You know, now that I'm older, I would say probably yes, but as a kid, I didn't really think about it that much. And it was actually kind of cool to have my dad there. I mean, everyone thought it was kind of cool. So, you know, it was cool then. Might be a little weird now, but so, you know, that's what it is. Anyway, with the access to the COVID vaccine growing, an Illinois gymnast decided to use his platform to encourage others to get vaccinated as well. Sophomore gymnast Evan Manabong stuck his vault landing in a March meet at Minnesota and flashed his vaccine card. Illini Sports Night's Mariah Guzman had the chance to sit down with Manabong and talk about the now-viral stunt. ISN is taking next week off due to Tuesday's non-instructional day, but be sure to tune into the show on April 20th for this story and more. So, I don't know anything about gymnastics, but my sister actually did some gymnastics when she was growing up, and I remember always going to her events and stuff, and, you know, it was fun to watch, but, you know, I definitely can't do even a simple flip.
Oh, boy, can I? Ooh. Gymnastics for me, I can't even do a flip. I can't do one. But speaking of Evan Manabong, I remember watching that clip weeks ago, and then somehow it circled back into Twitter on Monday, and everyone just started posting it and sharing it. And I remember by that night, Monday night, it was on CNN. So that was pretty crazy that he got a lot of attention just because of flashing his vaccine card. But Jose, what do you think of it?
I think it's pretty cool too. I mean, everyone's got to have the vaccine card at this point, so, but you're not supposed to laminate it. I learned that you're not supposed to do that in case they got to do some modifications to the card. But yeah, with the event in general, it was just interesting to see that happened actually, like, was it like 2 weeks ago, I think, or something around that time? And then it just became viral just recently. So it's kind of cool how stuff like that works. Anyway, what are you doing this weekend, Angel?
Well, you already know. Tomorrow we are actually heading to Moline to check out some apartments for you because you're going to be starting a new job about in a month or two.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be really weird. Very different environment. Yeah, so, yeah, Iowa, well, we're on the border of Iowa. It's the border of Illinois and Iowa. You would think that it's very plain, just like, you know, how Champaign is, but there's actually a lot of hills, and it kind of surprised me. I'm exaggerating a little here, but it kind of reminded me of San Francisco. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my head. Yeah, so, well, that's all the time we have for the show today.
To stay up to date with more campus news, be sure to take a look at our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And for more content, check out our website at ui7live.com/WP. And as always, have a good morning, Illini.
When you're expecting a teenager.
Hey guys, today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Give kisses. Give kisses. Look. Give kisses. Give kisses. You heard how loud that was.
I know,
sleep through that.
I heard. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Bacon.
Families come in all sizes and shapes. Sometimes your friends are your family by choice, or sometimes you're just stuck with Uncle Charles. But what we know is that you want to protect the people that are close to you, but the flu can unravel everything. Your flu vaccine protects you and your family. No matter what draws your family together, protect yourself, protect your family. Everyone needs a flu vaccine.